everyone, welcome back to the cafe. Louis V here, and I have something special to share with you all. I just received this package in from the mail, sent all the way from St. Petersburg, Florida, from Banana Records, which I believe is the largest record store, at least in the United States, maybe even the world, I don't know. But I just got a package from them. And this is a record that has been on my want list for quite some time. This is a 1987 pressing of a rare Beatles album in mint condition. It's never been open and it's supposed to be completely sealed, mint, everything that you would want, just like you would buy it right from the shelf back in 1987. And today I'm going to open this up with you. Super excited to share this experience with you. I'm really hoping that everything arrived without damage. You know that moment when you order a record, it's one of your grails, something you've been looking for a long time, you haven't been able to find in a while, you finally find it, you get your hands on it, and the worst thing ever is that it got damaged in shipping. I hate that. I hate it. You get a nice corner dent or something like that and it just ruins the whole experience. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you guys know what I mean. Everybody that has been collecting records for a while has opened a box and said, oh my God, what is this? I'm really, fingers crossed, folks. Please cross your fingers for me that this arrived in great condition. Looking at the box itself, there's a little bit of a dent here, which seems to be padded well, another little dent here. So these are just common shipping dents. But I gotta tell you, for one record, this is thick. Banana Records, so far to me, looks like they know how to ship a record. So, I got my trusty razor here. And after all this time, let's go ahead and get this bad boy open, shall we? Oh, wow. Sometimes this is like Christmas for me, you know. A lot of people love listening to new records. Sometimes they just love opening them. It's something very therapeutic, especially when you order something, you're waiting for it to come in the mail, you're tracking the shipping, you finally get it in, and then you're just down to just that last couple seconds or minute before you get an actual chance to have it in your hands to say that you've now added it to your collection. This moment is, to me, an amazing moment. After all the records that I have, that you see tons of records behind me, and if you watch this channel, you know I get a lot of cool stuff in. I still enjoy this. I'm still like a kid on Christmas when it comes to a new record. Okay, I'm going to try to open this up with you, but I'm going to do it in a way that I hope it doesn't compromise the record inside. So let's open up the barn doors, shall we? La 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 la. That is not the record, by the way. That is probably some protective used cover that they gave me. But here we go. So that's the box. And then what they've done is they sandwiched the record in between two probably dollar bin record covers here, which is fine. I sometimes can appreciate the reuse of the of this. I actually had somebody do this for me one time, and the cover they actually sent me was better than the cover that I had on this record, which was great because I had a great pressing of the record. I just didn't have a good cover, so I thought that was kind of cool. I'm sorry you can't see this part. I am carefully cutting the tape that is holding this together, so I apologize as I take some extra care in getting this unboxed. Okay. Looks like now we can open her up. And I know I haven't shared what the record is yet. So I know I've been leaving you a little bit in suspense. But we're going to take a look at it right now together. How about I do it like this? Maybe that's a little bit better. We can open this up together. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. Some of you have already recognized it. So this is the 1987. Looks like she's still a little bit stuck on there, folks. I'm sorry. This is what happens when it's not pre-planned. This is what happens when it's live, folks. We get the live errors here. Let's cut this little bad boy here. without cutting the album cover. And then we got a little bit down here. But this is the 1987 pressing, if you haven't saw it yet, of Hard Day's Night. Got it in this nice styrofoam here. Man, they really wrapped this up. I will give them credit. This is a record store that knows how to ship a record. This thing is tight, and I'm very glad that they put the extra care into it. Let's get the trash out of the way. So, this is how I saw it first. This is how you saw it first. The rear of it, this is the MOFI pressing of A Hard Day's Night, sealed, just like you would buy it back in 1987, which is nearly 40 years ago. This has been sitting on somebody's shelf, sealed, for nearly 40 years. Can you imagine that? That's amazing. It's amazing to me. I'm going to put this cover on my razor before I cut myself, because I'm clumsy as all get out. I don't know about some of y'all. Like, I'm surprised they even let me around my own records, because I am super clumsy. So in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to crack this seal on this record, folks. But yeah, to me, it's I have to breathe deeply. It's in my hands, and y'all maybe you understand as collectors, but this is one I've been looking for a while. And I've come across a few of these in a while, but it's never in a great condition, or the record scratched up or beat to hell. I've been trying to collect a lot of these MOFI pressings of the Beatles. And I know what you're thinking. If you're a Beatles fan, you're like, why would you want those? They're the worst pressings. They have the smiley face EQ. Listen, if that's not your thing, if you don't like the way that they mastered the album, that's fine. There's so many variations of this pressing. You're going to find one you like. I guarantee it. If you're a Beatles fan, you probably already like the OGs, the stuff from the UK, etc. I get it. I feel you. When I get variations of albums, I like things to be mastered a little bit different, because I want a different experience depending on how the album is. Now, this whole smiley face thing, I don't know if we ever got down to the bottom of it, to be honest with you. I know the Beatles really cared about their sound, and they really made dynamic songs. So I've read stories out there that the smiley face EQ that MOFI has done was always there, but they had to dial it down because it was so dynamic it would cause turntables to skip. The tone arts couldn't track the record. It was that dynamic at the time. You got to remember, we've made a huge difference in records over the years. I don't know if that's true or not. What I also heard was somebody was deaf or something, and they adjusted it so they would hear right. Listen, I don't think that's true either. The records sound great. I did the unboxing not that long ago of a sealed copy of the White Album, Beatles, and I gotta tell you, it sounds phenomenal. It sounds like a modern record. Something was recorded yesterday, cut yesterday. It's got everything you would want from it. Now, is it better than an OG pressing? Is it better than the originals? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's different. I enjoy it. It's something I like collecting. And honestly, if you're a Beatles fan, why not? Why not collect all the variants to begin with? Like, I don't know. I'm bringing this up, folks, because on the White Album, there was some people that are just like, why would you buy that? That's a waste of money. It's a horrible pressing. Is it? Because I listened to it, because I have it now. It sounds great. So I have high expectations for this. Now, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Hard Day's Night for a moment. Now, this was originally released in, 1964? And when this came out, it really marked a pivotal moment for the Beatles. It really showcased their evolution from pop phenomenon to like this serious artist. And this was, you got to remember, this was their third album, and it was released at the height of Beatlemania. Some of y'all lived through that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So when this album came out, it was more than just a soundtrack to their first feature film. It was a statement of their growing musical maturity. And I think they nailed it, you know? And one of the reasons why I think they nailed it is, honestly, it's because it was the first time that an album featured all original compositions written by the dynamic duo John Lennon and Paul McCartney, right? Their songwriting has evolved. Lennon was taking up much of the lead on the album, creating these unmistakable blend of catchy pop melodies and deeper, more, say, personal themes. You got tracks on here that are just iconic. You got, of course, the album's title, A Hard Day's Night. You have Can't Buy Me Love, which is a song that's still played on the radio today, and these all became instant classics. And then you got this added up to the just upbeat energy just resonating from fans around the world. You add that with ballads like If I Fell and I Love Her. You know, they really revealed a more emotional and sophisticated side to the Beatles' music. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about musically. This album just stood out for its innovative sound. From these you got the opening track, you got this unforgettable opening chord of A Hard Day's Night. And then you also have George Harrison's, jangly 12-string Rickenbacker, which would become iconic, and it blended the excitement of rock and roll with little subtle touches of folk influence, pushing the boundaries of pop music at the time. I mean, the Beatles were just revolutionary in the way they put music together. But let's step beyond the music. This album was dead linked to the film of the same name, A Hard Day's Night, and songs were just woven into the fabric of the movie, amplifying the playful, energetic spirit of both the band and the era. Now, this, to a lot of folks, especially Beatles fans, this wasn't just a soundtrack. This was a cultural milestone, solidifying the Beatles' place in history as both musicians and entertainers. And this album, when it came out, was a massive success. It topped charts worldwide and was a critical step in their journey towards even more experimental and groundbreaking works, laying the foundation for future classics. Now, today, A Hard Day's Night is remembered as a landmark in pop and rock history, with its influences still felt by musicians around the world. And you still hear songs from this album played in movies, on the radio. I mean, it's still on people's playlists, and even younger folks that are just getting into music listen to songs from this album. Will I say it's the best Beatles album ever? Man, that is not even an episode. That is a series of videos. We could get into that. But it is one of my favorites in the catalog, and is one that I'm super excited to drop the needle on. Now, I'm going to get this opened up. But let me just tell you exactly what this is. This is from 1987. I stressed that earlier. It's the Mobile Fidelity pressing. This was mastered on the audiophile cutting system from the original master tapes. And it was pressed and plated by the Victor Company of Japan. So this is a Japanese press. Shall we cut it open? Shall we peel it open? It has been sealed for nearly 40 years. And it's going to breathe for the first time. It's like cracking open an old bottle of wine. And you know that the flavor inside is this, your mouth starts watering because you know what you're about to taste is going to be something unreal. My ears are doing that. My ears are like ready to listen to this record. Now I will tell you, I can see already before I even open it, there are a little bit of split seams happening here. Now, is that from shipping? I don't know. It was wrapped up pretty well. I think it's just from years of being handled. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried about that at all. To be able to say that I'm about to open this record and it's sealed. Yeah, what are you going to do? But I'm very just happy to have this in the condition that it's in. Shall we do it, guys? Shall we do it? Let's do it. First time breathing in almost 40 years. Some people are cringing at home because they're like, that's a collector's. That's part of history. You just damaged history. Records were never pressed to sit on a wall. They were pressed to be played. It's like buying a $1 million sports car and saying, I'm only buying it to have it sit in a garage so my friends can come over and stare at it and wish they had the money I have. They're meant to be driven. Cars are meant to be driven. Records are meant to be listened to. I bought this record to listen to it. And dang it, I'm going to listen to it. Let's remove it. Ooh. So much more vibrant, right? That cover is definitely worn. Definitely worn. So much more vibrant once you pull it out of its original cover. So pretty. So pretty. Still has this gloss after all these years. No ring wear. So wherever this was stored, it wasn't stored in pressure or flipped through 1,000 times at a record store. You open this up. The MOFI advertisement here. All the way from 1987. Look at this. They're even still advertising tapes in the back of this. This is how old this is. Isn't that awesome? Oh my gosh. This is just amazing. And there's other original master recordings here. You can buy some CDs. I have some of these albums. Not on CD, but on record. It's amazing. I'm sorry guys. I didn't mean to go too far off in the weeds there. Sometimes I really just enjoy reading some of the old inner ads because it's just amazing to me what they were promoting back then, and especially when you have some of those albums. So inside, listen, even more. I'll have fun reading all this on my own. You can screenshot that if you want. And then we got more information here. This is all about the process of the original master recording, letting you know what you just paid for. It's upside down, so I'll show you the way that it is right now. And it's a nice inner sleeve. I mean, credit to MOFI for giving you really nice inner sleeves all the way back then. They knew what they were doing back then. Let me get this so you can see the label. Let's look at this together. Label. Let me get a little bit closer so you can read it. And of course it's mint. I don't need to stress that, right? Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm super excited to listen to this record, folks. I'm in fact, it's going right onto the table as soon as I get things cleaned. I'm going to drop this in my ultrasonic cleaner. That's just a ritual I do with any new record. Any record I get. It's ultrasonic clean. To me, it's a must-have. But I really appreciate y'all, first off, enjoying this journey with me. This is super exciting for me. And I'm glad that I get to share it with the friends out here and the supporters of the channel and the people that get excited with me. And if you've stumbled across this and you're a Beatles collector and you know more information, you got some opinions about the MOFI pressings, or you got opinions on which version of A Hard Day's Night is the best, look, I encourage dialogue. I always encourage friendly conversation. Drop your comments below. Maybe I'll seek out what version you think is the definitive version and we can do a comparison. Maybe I could do something live on the channel. For now, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy cleaned, and I'm going to drop it on my table, and I'm going to talk about it in a future video. I'm going to talk about the quality, the sound quality, the experience, etc. This was just an unboxing today, but I will talk about the record on a future video. So stay tuned to that, and until next time, I'll see you on the next video.